All right, guys. Yes. Twitch versus YouTube streaming revenue. Completely different topic, but I think a lot of people are interested in content creation, the type of money that you can make if you start streaming. From Mr. MoistCr1TiKaL himself, let's get it.
I see people debate a lot what's better to stream on YouTube or Twitch, and it's a question I get asked a lot because I'm like Constantine, the man who walks between worlds here, because I stream on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I multi-stream. I am the future. I'm the chimera. There's pros and cons to each platform, but if you do both of them at the same time, you create the perfect stew. It's the chemical X to streaming. I have said since switching to multi-streaming, every single person should be multi-streaming.
Unless you are an anime reaction channel like me, or any type of channel where, you know, you can't just stream on YouTube. And if I actually tried to stream on YouTube, when we got banned on Twitch, we went to YouTube. I tried to watch High School DxD on Twitch and we got away with it for a while, but obviously the nipples and stuff, right? You got banned. I went on a 2-week vacation. Went on YouTube and started to play Snafu. And for about 10 minutes or so, things were great. Then Content ID strikes and the stream gets shut down. So if you do like variety game streaming, if you do anything, you know, that's pretty DMCA friendly, then you should be multi-streaming. Now, what I do instead is this, right? I actually go live on my phone. And on my phone, I go live on YouTube. Why? Because I want people to know that, hey, I'm streaming on Twitch. It says reactions on Twitch. Click link in chat. I'm trying to port the audience that only sticks to YouTube and get there. A lot of people click onto this video without even reading the title and are confused and like, why do you have just like a random wall as your stream, bro? It's just like, bro, you gotta be so fucking stupid. But some people just don't know how this shit works. You can see my hand right now. I'm hovering over my hand. Basically, my phone is there. Wait for it. There's a little bit of a delay. There's my hand, right? You see that? My phone is basically just over there and it's streaming at the same time to let people know that I'm live on Twitch. And people will then click the link and go over to Twitch. This is a pretty decent way to do it. And here's another thing. If you want to start streaming for the first time ever, one of the worst ways you can approach this is by just streaming on Twitch only. Because when you have no social media presence and you think that playing the newest, trending game, just like every variety streamer there is out there is doing, that you'll just get views, no. Do you know how many people are streaming on Twitch right now? Let's look at this, right? Do you understand how many people are streaming on Twitch right now? How many people are just streaming into the void? Let's do low to high. There are so many empty channels here, and I'm sure most of them are just doing this for fun. Most of these people don't really have a content strategy in mind. But I know for a fact that some people just think that all they have to do is just go live, stream for like 10 hours, grind it out, and suddenly that they will get viewership. You will never get viewership like this. It's an endless catalog of just zero viewers over and over again. How are you supposed to have discoverability on Twitch if you just get buried underneath? You can't. It's impossible. It's never possible. So what's the best way to do this? The best way to do this is make content on YouTube. Make content on YouTube that ideally that you can do on Twitch, right? I think that the most important thing, there's 3 separate things that's so important. The first thing is that everything that you do on stream, you should be able to make that into YouTube content. The fact that I'm streaming right now and I'm reacting to MoistCr1TiKaL's video means that, of course, I'm captivating on the ad revenue of when I'm streaming right now, but also I get to make that video and upload that onto YouTube. Another thing is, if you can, try to have Patreon exclusive content. Have an incentive to push people to Patreon, because YouTube at the end of the day, for me, is just one big advertisement. Due to the way that Content ID works on YouTube, you can't just upload all the anime reactions fully, right? Due to fair use and transformative content and, copyright shit like that. So everything has a visual overlay. The anime episode reactions are cut so that it only plays for a couple seconds, then skips to the next and tries to include just the highlights. What this does, though, is grows the channel. And unlike Twitch, where you will never grow by simply streaming, on YouTube, there's a separate algorithm that actually pushes your content out to different viewers that may have the same interest. And it's so much easier to grow on YouTube compared to trying to grow on Twitch as streaming. I'm comparing right now YouTube videos, not streaming, I'm talking about the growth on YouTube versus growth on Twitch as a completely new person with no connections, no networking. You're just by yourself. You have nothing before. But if you understand the algorithm, and hopefully you do by now, I have literally performance review videos, right? I literally make videos on a weekly basis, a weekly performance review where I go behind the scenes of the YouTube algorithm and explain to you why videos are doing well, why videos are doing bad. And by doing this, you will have amassed certain subscribers. And at that point, what do? I think then there's an opportunity to definitely go live on YouTube. I didn't, like, my first stream literally was on YouTube a year ago. And back then I had about 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers. And we were averaging around 20 to 30 viewers. And that was pretty good. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that you cannot, even averaging 20 to 30 views immediately, that's amazing. You may think it's trash because you're not getting the viewership of the most, viewed people. You're not getting 10K views, but 20 to 30 views, you're holding that shit down as a first-time streamer. It's amazing. And what you can do then eventually is to port people over to Twitch, right? So my recommendation is build an audience on YouTube first. And ideally, you can make this audience by streaming at the same time and recording those videos. While you're streaming, you're probably going to get no views. It's going to be a ghost town. There's going to be no one watching. But it's fine because the goal right now is for you to make content while streaming to nobody, but you can still make content. Have a YouTube channel that builds the audience there, and then you port the audience from YouTube over to Twitch. This is how I kickstarted my streaming career. Before it was just all offline, reactions and video recording. But I think this is the best way to go and start some sort of streaming, career if you're actually serious about this shit.
Contracts don't exist anymore except for on Kick, and even that I think is gone. There are no Twitch contracts. There are no YouTube contracts. They've gone extinct, like the saber-toothed tiger. They have wiped their ass with contracts to creators. So I think you are making a big mistake if you just marry yourself to one of those platforms instead of just doing both.
Absolutely. On average, multi-streaming, if you can, multi-streaming is definitely helpful, right? Not only do you have discovery on Twitch because you're big enough, but you also bring the huge audience that only has on YouTube. Some people will honestly never try Twitch because they have this loyalty to YouTube, which I don't understand. But it's good to multi-stream. And the whole contracts thing, before YouTube would used to give exclusive contracts. Twitch used to give exclusive contracts, but that's kind of died down. And that's not really happening anymore. And the future is people trying to stream everywhere at once.
Because you can. When people talk about this subject, they only give the basic rundown, the nutsack summary of pros and cons. I haven't seen anyone really go over numbers. I'm going to go over numbers.
Okay.
And I really think that the numbers here tell a very complete story of why multi-streaming should be the norm for streamers. It's in their best interest, and for viewers too, because then viewers have a choice on, do they want to watch it on Twitch where they're going to have a much more interactive chat experience, or do they want to watch it on YouTube where they don't care about the chat experience because it's a lot more dog shitty there. It's basically non-existent chat.
Yeah, chat experience definitely is. The culture that's on Twitch with all the different emotes and stuff, it's a totally different environment. You may think that both YouTube and Twitch, all you have is, a person streaming and you have a chat console. It's fundamentally different due to the kind of culture that's been cultivated throughout the years on Twitch. On YouTube, the dynamic player, as in when you're watching a YouTube stream, you can actually scroll back and stuff like that. On Twitch, you can't do that. Everything is just live. The in-game, the browser video player for YouTube is superior in that context. So kind of different cultures. On Twitch, again, people who wants to really engage in chat and engage with the streamer versus YouTube, where they're more likely just kind of lurking and just looking at the YouTube, videos and checking out the different sections as they want.
Chat culture on YouTube streaming, but the playback is a lot smoother, a lot higher quality, and you can rewind it, which is a nice quality of life change. Also, it's a lot better on mobile. Twitch on mobile has been a fucking disaster for me for as long as I've tried to watch Twitch on my phone. Also,
I think there is a huge component of mobile viewers, because if I look at my breakdown of analytics of people watching me from different devices, you'd be surprised. Around 2/3 of people watch from mobile devices. And this isn't just live streams too, it's also YouTube videos as well. And it makes sense. Having a PC, you may think that it is just something so basic that everyone watches it through a desktop PC. I myself do that. But you have to realize that the world is more bigger than just like, let's say, North America, where the cost of living, the quality of living might be better than other places where you can have these computers, but people on the other side of the world, they don't have the access to that kind of like money or resources. And rather they have just smartphones and they just rely on that. A lot of people really just watch through smartphones. 2/3 of my audience streaming on Twitch, on YouTube video viewership, everyone mostly watches it through the smartphones. And the breakdown also between like iOS and Android, heavily skewed towards Android because obviously iPhones are more expensive. So you should really think about like prioritizing your experience. Like when you try to think about like, even like thumbnails, you're making thumbnails or you're trying to figure out like, how do I make the people who watch me have the best experience possible? Try to think from mobile viewer first. Try to prioritize mobile viewers, as in the thumbnails needs to be way more bigger, right? The faces, whatever you're trying to portray, these little details won't be shown in a mobile thumbnail, but the bigger it is, it's kind of more clear for like a mobile viewer, right? So think about that.
The ads on Twitch, they're getting outrageous. YouTube streaming doesn't have nearly as many ads, which is a nice breath of fresh air. Like, there are real pros and cons to both, but these are just the basics. And these talking points have been worn out more than my bussy after eating anything with spice in it. So I'm not just going to be baby bird vomiting the same talking points you've heard a million times. Instead, I want to show you the numbers. I want to bring up my biggest, most profitable stream I ever did on Twitch and then break it down a little bit.
Let's see it.
It was in 2022 when MoistCr1TiKaL.
Goddamn. 1 day revenue, $11,000, 75,000 people, max viewership. God damn. But again, you have to realize that this is a dude with over 16 million subs on YouTube only. Like, of course his numbers are going to be ridiculous.
A little bit. It was in 2022 when MoistCr1TiKaL won the Rocket League Major, the Spring Major. Still one of the best moments I've ever had streaming.
Yeah, not only is he a big creator, but also it's a peak moment. You can't just like do this every day. This is a specific, he runs like an esports team, right? Moist Sports. And during the tournament, his team won. So this is like the peak of the peak for a big creator like him getting these numbers.
I peaked at 75,000 live viewers. It was a very long stream that I did, and it took home 11.7K for that whole stream.
Crazy.
Roughly 2,000 subs, but most of it came through ads. And
that's very impressive. Most people's revenue through Twitch is mostly through like a single or a couple people gifting a lot of subs. Ad revenue, you can see definitely here in the, look at this, ads over here, right? You can see this section. It's so much more significant, right? For when you get such a big viewership like that. And that's why people always, run ads down your throat. The blue is then cheering, which is like bits. So bits, and then you have, what is it? Gifted subs is huge. Paid subs and gifted subs is about the same. And the least amount is extensions. I'm not really sure what extensions is.
And most of those subs were primes. Subbing on Twitch is far more common than members joining on YouTube.
Yes, because of Twitch Prime, right? Most people do have an Amazon Prime account. All they have to do is connect their Amazon Prime to Twitch. And now you have a free monthly subscription that you can do on Twitch. YouTube doesn't really exist. Membership
on YouTube is the equivalent of a Twitch sub where someone on YouTube pays $1.
Yeah, the top portion is true. Sorry, did I say that? Yeah, this is the cheering part. These are the bits. Yes, I think I said bits, ad revenue, gifted subs, paid subs, and Prime subs making a big bulk of that.
Is the equivalent of a Twitch sub where someone on YouTube pays $1. So like a tier 1 sub on YouTube for my channel is $1. On Twitch the minimum's $5, but it's the same concept. You pay money and it's a subscription basically. And that is so much more common on Twitch. So 2,000 subs on that Twitch stream is more than I've ever got through a YouTube live stream by a large margin. And 11.7K is the most profitable stream I ever had in my entire 7 years on Twitch.
And remember, this is the best performance of MoistCr1TiKaL, someone that has 16 million subs on YouTube. So of course these numbers sound ridiculous, but still understand that this man, within a single day, made $11,000 just off of Twitch. We're not even talking about the other revenue sources, like his YouTube accounts or whatever else he does with merch and other businesses. Through Twitch alone, a single stream, $11,000. To some people around the world, $11,000 could be an annual salary. Isn't that insane?
I actually streamed on Justin TV before it became Twitch. I used to do like World at War Zombies on there and shit, but then I took like a long hiatus and then came back in like 2016. But this was the biggest stream I've ever done. I then switched to multi-streaming last year. And what I've learned is Twitch is much higher potential to earn money while live than YouTube. And it's because of things like the Twitch Primes, which have become a pretty integral part of the Twitch ecosystem, and ads.
Yep.
Twitch actually has more ads than YouTube, and thus, since more ads are playing, that's more money being generated from those ads to the streamers. There's so fucking many ads on Twitch. They pump ads out the wazoo, and they are so intrusive.
Yes, they are. And that's just the nature of business. And people complaining about ads, listen, you are getting free content on Twitch. Especially for my reactions too, that's pay-gated content. I do it live on Twitch. And a lot of people complain about it, but you have to realize that this ad revenue also helps sustain this whole production value, right? I have an editor to pay, I have my own bills to pay, stuff like this. You are watching it for free, you're not even donating, you're not even gifting subs or whatever. And I don't need you to give me money. If you feel enticed and compelled by my content, then go to Patreon. There's a good value proposition there to get the best money, or value. On Twitch, I'm not saying you need to give subs. No, if you have disposable income and you want to support me, I really appreciate it. But I try really not to have this cult cater towards this weird culture of trying to like treat people like they're my fucking family, like this parasocial bond of calling them my family and then having people just milk money out of them. That feels weird to me. I'd rather earn that money through the value proposition on Twitch. But ad revenue also, it definitely helps. Right now, the ad density is 3 minutes per hour. And 3 minutes per hour of ads, you might think is ridiculous, but that's the least amount, the threshold that's required to have like a 50-50 split of Twitch revenue, the ad revenue being cut where 50% goes to Twitch and 50% goes to mine, roughly. If you don't do that, the 3-minute ad density, if I'd say ran like 2-minute ad density, suddenly the split is 70-30 or something. It goes more to Twitch. That's why most people's ad density throughout an hour is 3 minutes per hour, and that's the lowest amount to qualify for that 50-50 split.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years, Twitch integrates a system into their player that has like eye tracking capability. So if a viewer looks away during an ad break, it'll pause the ad till their eyes are glued right.
That's so sinister. That's so fucked up, man.
Back to it to finish the ad. It's brutal, but it does have higher earning potential while live for those streamers that have all of these ad breaks that are going on. So Twitch has a higher earning potential through live content.
Now we're comparing just live content. If you stream on Twitch versus YouTube, one or the other, Twitch has higher, revenue potential. But why is multi-streaming then better overall? Because I guess even if you make lower money on YouTube compared to Twitch, comparatively, right? Combined together, it must make more overall.
And the VODs on Twitch don't make any money. Like they just...
That's right. On YouTube, the VODs do make money, right? You get sent mid-roll ads, meaning as you watch the video, you're going to get an ad break, and you watch that and it gives you ad revenue. On Twitch, it's just a video. There's literally nothing gained from it.
I don't even know if they're fucking monetized. And if they are, I don't know if streamers even see a penny of that. Like not a single one of those fucking clams makes it to a streamer's pockets through the VODs. But on YouTube, it's a totally different story. My most successful stream on YouTube isn't the one I just had at the Game Awards with over 110,000 live viewers, which is my biggest stream by viewer metrics. The most profitable stream I've ever done, the most profitable anything I've ever done is this stream right here, my Starfield stream.
Okay.
During the stream,
which is funny because Starfield was supposed to be just like an ass game, right?
I had 31,000 average viewers with a peak of 38K, which is a big stream. That is a big stream for me. It's actually more average viewers than the Rocket League one, but the Rocket League stream not only was a longer stream, but had a higher peak, and thus you would expect make more money because of the ads and the subs that came through.
Yep.
Well, what if I told you that's not the fucking case when it comes to YouTube streaming?
Wait a minute.
Because this Starfield video...
84,000. More. $84,000, bro. Hold the fuck up. On Twitch, the tournament, that shit got what, 11,000 revenue? This is almost 8 times more. You see this shit? You see this shit? And one has to wonder, why? It's all through just ad revenue. Look at the breakdown is here. It's not even memberships or super chat of gifts. It's not even donations, bro. It's not even fucking donations that's making that money, bro. It's all just watch paid ads, meaning as you watch the video, you're gonna have an ad break. You watch that shit that count as that.
Actually made $84,000. 84,000 doubloons for a 4-hour stream just playing mid-poop-ass Starfield.
Exactly, and that's Starfield, by the way. This isn't like a super hype game. It's a game that was like on launch. It was a fucking disaster. Maybe people wanted to see the train wreck of a situation, but still, 84K?
The actual, like...
Also, 3 times shorter stream too. Remember, the Twitch stream where he did the Moist, sports tournament or whatever, that was like a what, 13-hour stream? Look at this. 4-hour stream. 3 times shorter, yet more than 3 times the money.
This was like an insomnia, try not to fall asleep challenge, basically. $84,000. And it's not because the 31,000 viewers all of a sudden just started, buying memberships or donating tons and tons of money.
Yeah, and you can see right here, both the supers and the memberships together combined doesn't even come fucking close. Because the watchpad, like, remove the membership and gifted, it's still fucking 79,000, bro. That's roughly like a $4,000 difference. It doesn't fucking matter.
This wasn't like the biggest documented case of credit card fraud and money laundering that the internet's ever seen. In fact, the live stream itself made 1.6K on ads.
Yes. Here's the thing too. Here's a very good question. Most of the money is also from the after the stream. No? Yes, you're right. Because this stream was on August 30th, 2023. On that day alone, if you look at the amount of revenue made here, sorry, let me move this shit. You can't see me anymore. Look at here, right? You see the different dates from August 30th to December 16th, 2024. This is over a period of more than a year. So obviously over that year, it made $84,000. Still a single stream that they earned it, but you're making money as time progresses. You didn't just get 84K off that one stream and done on that day. No, it took a year to build up to that point, if you understand that.
The internet's ever seen. In fact, the live stream itself made 1.6K on ads, and the other $78,000 came from the VOD and the ads that played during a VOD.
Yeah, this is way more accurate, right? So let's compare that. On Twitch, what did he make on that single stream? He made about like 11K, right? He did. On YouTube, he made only 1.6K. Fair. But the earning potential of what happens as time progresses, because of how better monetized these VODs are on YouTube, you make way more money in the long run with VODs compared to Twitch.
Now the membership number there, the 2.4K, a lot of those memberships were just from people watching the VOD and then buying a membership, not them doing it while it was live. Also the supers and gifts, I'm pretty sure that is live. So you can...
Again, these numbers honestly so negligible. I don't care. Just like look at this value, bro. It's crazy.
You can add the 1.6K plus the 1.
This is so crazy that I gotta go take a piss right now. Be right back. All right. That was a good one. I'm back.
0.6K on the supers, so the 1.6K from the live ads plus the super chats. And let's just go ahead and be generous and say like the live stream while it was live made 4K. The other $80,000 came from the VOD. This isn't some like
fucking crazy. And you know what? Let's bring my numbers up. Here. Let's look at this shit. Let's look at this shit together. So I'm on the live tab right now. Okay, sorry. Let me do this. Let me bring this guy over here. And let's look at, you know, my shit. So I'm going to live and I'm going to sort by the most viewed stream. Ah, shit. This probably got no money. That's unfortunate. My most viewed stream actually has limited visibility. So actually, this is a terrible one to compare. So it means that it got no ads. I probably said something very bad. It's a Classroom the Elite light novel. It made like $22, right? The money, the ad revenue definitely is you know, not different at all, right? When we streamed this, after the first 2 days, it got about $20. And after what, about a year or so, it made $3 extra because, again, limited ads. It's a very poor way to kind of determine, like, you know, how this shit is working, right? Like, while live, 0.32, replay $1. It's a very bad one. And in fact, here, my proportion of the money comes more from membership, supers, and gifted, and people like that. So not a good example. Let's look at the second most viewed one. Let's look at this one. Will this be any different? Let's look at the revenue. No. The revenue is fucking trash for me. There is little to no replay value. When I first went live, you know, 0.61, replay $2. But again, right? What's the relative factor here? It's by like a factor of like 3 to 4, right? 3 to X multiplier based off of the VODs itself. MoistCr1TiKaL, what was the multiplier? A lot more than 3 to 4, okay? A lot more than 3 to 4, okay? Is there any other ones? Hold up. Let's look at some other ones, like Doki Doki Literature Club stream. And let's look at the FNAF stream. Let's look at these two separate streams. Yes, we actually played Doki Doki Literature Club, bro. Okay, extra revenue. Here we go. And it's more from supers and gifted. The watch time ads are negligent, bro. A little bit better. It's still nothing in comparison, though, right? This is what? A factor of roughly 6? Right? 5 to 6 roughly, right? Somewhere in between there. If we look at the FNAF stream, it's fucking nothing at all, bro. So yeah, this is roughly like a factor of around 3 to 4. Yeah. So my numbers obviously pale in comparison. Why? Because I'm not MoistCr1TiKaL, bro. I don't have 16.3 million subs, bro. This is what happens, okay?
Okay. Case. This is the way that YouTube streaming is optimized. YouTube streaming is kind of just an
long-term
afterthought
game
for the platform. YouTube has always been about VODs, the videos itself. So when you finish a stream, it becomes a VOD, and that enters into the YouTube algorithm.
How demoralizing it must be for overworked game devs to probably make less than someone degrading all the work in a 4-hour review. But here's the thing. If that 4-hour review and the whole thing is the game being shit on, that's not because the game is actually good and the people are bad. It's because the game is ass. It doesn't matter how much you work. You made a shitty game and people are giving a better representation of what the game actually is to the modern audience. And of course, someone making content like Asmongold shitting on a game because it's actually bad versus a 9-to-5 employee, you can't compare the two. The earning potentials for an employee working a 9-to-5 pales in comparison to someone making content doing very well. Just because you make content doesn't mean you're going to do very well. For every Asmongold, for every MoistCr1TiKaL, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of others that's tried and failed. It's not how that works. But at the end of the day, yes, you cannot compare the amount of money that people can make successfully doing content versus people who just have a 9-to-5 job. That's just reality.
And YouTube is extremely efficient at monetizing VODs.
Yes.
So finishing a 4-hour Starfield stream, it immediately saved as a VOD and made tons and tons of money.
After a year, though. Because remember, the numbers showed us that during the live, he made about 1.8K. But after a year, more than a year of buildup, slowly trickling in, that's where that 80K number comes to. So it's a long-term game for YouTube.
Through the VOD. Whereas on Twitch, I don't even think VODs are monetized. And if they are, it's not the creators making the money from the VODs, I don't think. YouTube is a totally different story. You don't make as much money while you are live from people buying memberships or donating money or anything like that. And their ads aren't that frequent on YouTube live streams, thank heavens. But what you miss in live revenue, you make up for with VOD revenue. 10 times over.
Crazy, man. Truly a long-term game. And this is actually really eye-opening. I think that if I were to ever stream video games, and because like due to my content again, like my content, we are in the reaction space, and the reaction space is very tricky to do on YouTube because again, the whole nature of copyright situations. And there is a working formula of editing down the content and transforming it as much as possible such that the YouTube videos themselves can be published while having a pay-gated incentive on Patreon to get the full reaction. And it's a beautiful business model. It is. But I'm missing out on the YouTube multi-live stream revenue as time passes, right? If I truly wanted to have a video game centric, I think that if I wanted to do that, I'd probably do it on YouTube. I probably, how is visual novel streaming for copyright? It's pretty safe. I mean, we did Data Live visual novel, the Rio Reincarnation. It went fine. It's just that the interest wasn't there from people. That's why I dropped it and moved on to more reactions. And because of how limited time I have, like every day I stream between 6 to 8 hours. And every moment of that is me reacting to YouTube videos like this or reacting to anime to publish. I also have a second channel called MoistCr1TiKaL TV 2 where we have English dubbed cartoon reactions going. So currently I'm kind of maximizing the amount of, content output I'm doing right now. But if I truly did want to, open up, if I wanted to tap into this video game VOD revenue live shit, then for sure I would probably multi-stream on Twitch and YouTube. Maybe I'd exclusively stream on YouTube. I'm not too sure. So that I can avoid tanking the, the analytics on Twitch side. Because for sure, right now, we average around like 200 viewers per stream. Maybe it can peak when ReZero or super high trends are happening to around like 400 views. If we get rated by Alicia X Live, maybe it's going to get up to like 600 and we kind of sustain that. But on average, my reaction streams, it's around the 200 average mark by peaking at around like nearly like 280 to 300. And that's a pretty good park. It's comfortable. But if I want to kind of like maintain those stats, I would probably exclusively stream on YouTube just for the gaming portion. Leave those VODs up to collect money over the long term. And then once I'm ready to go into reaction mode, we just go over to Twitch.
What I showed you with the Rocket League stream was my biggest, most profitable Twitch stream I ever did. So even when I was a daily streamer for like 6 to 8 hours a day for years, averaging between 10 to 20,000 viewers, fluctuating, I would usually be making between 4 to 6K a day.
Oh no, only 4 to 6K a day. How is he gonna survive?
And that was like...
This is sarcasm, by the way. I'm not saying that MoistCr1TiKaL is complaining. He's just giving objective numbers. But the sarcasm is to highlight the ridiculous different world that successful content creators live in compared to the day-to-day average life of someone that has a 9-to-5 job. It's ridiculous. People are making your annual salary per month playing video games online. And when I realized how fucked up this society is, guess what I did? I decided, you know what? How hard could this be? I'll do it myself. And here we are.
The norm, with the occasional peak going up to like 8 or 9, and then that being the biggest at over 11. But right now, my viewership combined on YouTube and Twitch is higher than it ever was on just Twitch. On YouTube, I average between 10 to 12K a stream, and on Twitch, it's between like 5 and 6K.
And if he streamed exclusively on Twitch, that 5 to 6K concurrent viewership would boost up to around like 15 to 20K. Because when he exclusively streamed on Twitch, that's what his numbers were. And I bet you that on average, per day ad revenue, he would make more money on Twitch. Of course he would. He would also have a higher concurrent viewership, no shit. But by splitting that number and simulcasting onto YouTube and Twitch, now you have the VOD potential. And while in the beginning, you may not make as much ad revenue on that day of simulcasting both on YouTube and Twitch compared to exclusively streaming on Twitch, over time, the amount of money you would make would be way greater by simulcasting on YouTube and Twitch versus just on Twitch.
Really just kind of depends on what I'm doing at the time. But on Twitch, you'll make more money while live and make nothing once the stream ends.
To be honest, big streamers are providing way more value than the average 9-to-5 worker, and that's why they earn so much more. Value is a very tricky thing. This comment is very sensitive because how many times do you hear the term of get a real job, bro? Streaming is not a real job. Remember the whole huge controversy when Hassan said streaming is way harder than working a 9 to 5. People were kind of taking that out of, it was being exaggerated because what he was trying to say was like, it's emotionally taxing to constantly, engage in chat for 8 hours versus, let's say, just fucking being like a warehouse worker where you can just focus on the manual labor. There's some truth to that, but like the term value is very subjective. And what is value at the end of the day? Me simply yapping about the animes that you guys love is creating this entertainment value. And that entertainment value, who am I or who are you to say that it's more important than, let's say, when I used to work on my day job, which was just writing code for fucking Fortune 500 companies, just slaving away to give shareholders what they want, right? This value is very different. I think that the value that a 9 to 5 worker makes, you can't compare it directly because here's the thing. How much is my CEO making? Probably way more than I am doing, content creation. But of course, because he's the CEO and because the value I'm deriving there, he's making a lot of money. But because I'm a 9 to 5 employee, I'm getting a fraction of that paycheck. And that's why the paycheck does not reflect the value that you're providing at those jobs. The value that you're actually providing is recognized at that top level where all the bosses, the C-suite members are reaping in the money, right? And you could argue that there's also many different employees also offering that value. Therefore, it's not just one individual value doing that. But I'm trying to like give you a different context of like value is very subjective. And people see other people just playing video games and making way more money than them working at like an oil rig or just like as a laborer, putting so much, just working so hard. But what you have to realize is that working hard does not fucking matter. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how gruesome or tiring your work is. What matters is being able to get people to give you money. And I'm sorry, this is just the objective truth. Relying on people to get a paycheck from them, while it may be stable, the earning potential is not enough. But if you can figure out value by compelling the audience to give them money to you by offering a service, offering a product, selling a course, selling something that really compels them, then you're going to be able to scale way higher in earning potential. It's just how that works, man. It's just how that works. But yes, for every one big streamer, you have 5,000 zero to view streamer. And this is true too, right? The unfortunate reality is that not everyone can be successful. There are so many people trying to do this shit, trying to make it. Life is so hard, and it's like a dream job to be able to do YouTube or Twitch. And right now, I feel every day, it's still like astonishing. And I'm still a nobody. Even if I get 1 million subs, I think that I'm still a nobody. I'm a fucking little ant online, just have my little space of just watching anime and just yapping. But at the end of the day, even with like what? We're at like 26,000 subs right now. We got a second channel, all combined, we're like what, averaging like 1.5 mil per month, viewership on YouTube through long form content. We got the Patreon, everything. All that combined, I'm making more money than my day job. And I get to choose my own schedule. I get to do what I want. And it's really liberating, but it's also very like, every day it feels still weird. It's like, it feels like shocking to me that like, this is like my reality now. And because I acknowledge how privileged I am, I'm out here grinding every day because I know that this isn't forever and it could just go away in an instant like that. Anyways, we're getting really off tangent right now. A lot of different like philosophical takes on like, like trying to chase your dreams and trying to be like someone big by making content and escaping the matrix in 9 to 5. But you have to realize that like not everyone can just do this. I had to fucking grind this shit for 3 years while holding down my day job. And the first 2 years was also little to fucking no growth. And in my 3rd year right now, after even terminating my first channel due to copyright bullshit and starting all over and grinding and still not being able to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And finally, I'm figuring out how to actually create a community. Now I'm seeing some semblance of success that's been doing it. So it's like, do you really want to do this? You have to sacrifice everything, right? If you have a 9 to 5 job, you have stability. You have the ability to differentiate work and life. To me, there is no work-life balance. It's just my life. And every day is like, I'm constantly checking comments, constantly checking analytics, constantly thinking about content strategy. Like if you work a 9 to 5, you can just shut your brain off and do other stuff. But even if my entire day is consumed by content creation, I love it. I don't need to do it. I want to do it. And my entire life is not consumed by thinking about content creation, but it's the thing that gives me the most fulfillment and it really makes me happy. Yes, a lot of CEOs also don't have the work-life balance either, and here's a really fun part. A lot of the CEOs complain that like workers are complaining. It's like, yo, I'm working like 80-hour weeks. You guys should too. And here's the thing, retard. The CEO is getting like 95% of the fucking profits. The employees are making a fraction of what you're getting. Of course, if you're making all that fucking money, you want to work harder. That's you. You're getting way more out of it. You can't expect that out of the rank and file employee who's getting crumbs and thinking like you should have, you should be, subjected to that same standard. Anyways, let's go back to the video.
On YouTube, you'll make less money while live and then could make 5 times as much from just the VOD. On Twitch, when the stream ends, it's basically forgotten. That's lost media at that point because no one's fucking watching Twitch VODs, it seems.
And that's why Asmongold uploads all his videos onto YouTube. That's why I upload all my videos onto YouTube, right? Yes, the VODs are gone on Twitch, but you can still edit those sections of the VODs and post it on YouTube. And it's not the same. Well, it is pretty much the same. Now you're collecting ad revenue over time through that video. The VOD is the same thing. It's just a VOD of a live stream and not like an individual video.
On YouTube, when the stream ends, well, now the journey's just begun. Like now, there's no telling what that can generate. Like take this for example, this was a very normal, pretty low-key stream. I was just replaying Gears of War, one of the most important games in my life. This wasn't a brand new hot release that would be like algorithmically successful. Like it's not like something the algorithm would be salivating over, pushing out a Gears of War live stream. Gears of War is older than the hair on your grandma's titty nipple.
Jesus.
Like this is one of those streams where I do just because I really wanted to replay this game. And you can see my average viewers were 10,000, which is normal. That's a pretty normal stream for me on YouTube. But the VOD now has 1.6 million.
Here it is again. Look at that. Bro, $800 while live. 23.5K on replay. You see how ridiculous this is?
Views and has made over $20,000. And of course I was multi-streaming, so I can pull the Twitch data as well here. This exact same stream.
And it's roughly the same, right? 1.4K revenue during that stream. He was multi-streaming, right? The YouTube VOD ad revenue, what was that? 800. So Twitch was a little bit, actually a bit more than a little bit better. It's almost like 2 times better, almost 2 times better yet. But here's the thing, 1.4K is a static number. That 1.4K stays while the 800 transforms into 25,000 later on.
Views and has made over 20. That same stream made $1,400 on Twitch. The difference is substantial. Now you can see again here in the data, the live revenue 802 while live here, plus again, memberships and supers aren't really indicative to what was live because some of those could have been from people watching the VOD and it calculates here post-VOD. But regardless, you can see that the live revenue was less on YouTube than it was Twitch, but the overall revenue is substantially higher on YouTube because of the VODs, which is something Twitch just doesn't really have, which is why I think you should just do both. Your potential to earn while live is much higher on Twitch, but your potential to earn through VODs is astronomically higher on YouTube.
Yes,
so
sir.
You're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't just do both. And again, it is a positive for viewers too, because they'll be able to choose the platform they want to watch on, as opposed to having to roll their eyes and be like, oh, my favorite streamer's on YouTube. I hate the fucking chat there, but whatever. I guess I'll watch, or maybe I won't. I really hate YouTube streams, or vice versa. Oh man, my favorite streamer's only on Twitch. He went from YouTube to Twitch, and I just don't like Twitch. I'm not a fan of it, and I guess I'm just not going to watch him anymore. I'll just wait for the VODs on YouTube when he posts the clips. Like, now they have the option of just being on what platform they want to watch the stream. And there's a lot of streamers that are making the switch to multi-streaming. I just really think this should just be common practice for anyone who streams because...
Yes, again, if you exclude this very obscure niche of reaction content where you literally cannot multi-stream on YouTube, right? And also, if you're trying to make content that's for Patreon too, obviously you don't want to just post a fucking VOD on YouTube or else where's the Patreon incentive? So I would like to argue that while I am losing out on that ad revenue over time on the live VOD because of the Patreon incentive and that whole business model, I don't know exactly how much more money or I'll be gaining or losing, but there's a different chunk of money that I'm earning because of my business strategy. But if you're not doing reactions, if you're not trying to have Patreon incentive, then, and if all you're doing is just playing video games, this is probably the best way to optimize for ad revenue, yes.
Because there's no reason not to. There is no exclusive contracts anymore. They're gone. Poof, they've vanished. And that's great for streamers and viewers alike, honestly. I used to think contracts were the future for streams, but that was until I realized just how efficient multi-streaming is from both a streamer and viewer side. There are just endless examples I can give in my time multi-streaming. Like, here's another super normal one with me playing an indie game that I really like called Another Crab's Treasure. Fucking Crab Souls. Absolute banger of a game. But it's not like this stream was doing crazy numbers, right? Like, the movement on this stream wasn't anything, you know, unfathomable. Average 13K viewers. But the VOD now has over 2 million views. And it's made over $30,000.
Yep.
And to show
600 while live, 677, and then 30K on the replay.
So the same stream, what it did on Twitch, the numbers that it...
I'm gonna guess because there was like 800 to 140, 1,400 roughly on the last one. That's almost like a factor of 2. I'm gonna guess that Twitch made like $1,000 to $100, around $1,000 to $1,100.
Put up over there, it did one.
I'm not quite right there. 1,300, so this one's a little bit over 2x, but you know, it's not that far apart. Still roughly that 2x range.
0.3K during the live stream, and nothing from the VOD. I can go on and on with the crazy numbers that YouTube stream VODs are capable of putting up. Like, here's me just playing Liza P, fucking Pinocchio Souls, 16,000 average viewers, and the VOD has made over $51,000. I just don't think there's a very good argument to only streaming on one platform.
Of course, like, because of how niche the reaction space is, of course he's not going to be aware of, like, you know, DMCA, copyright, fair use stuff, Patreon incentive for reaction channels. But yes, for everyone else, which is going to be the bulk of the streamers, you should be doing this.
There is no reason you shouldn't.
You wonder how much of his advice was survivor bias? What about this is survivor bias, though? He's telling you that VODs on YouTube is going to make more money over time compared to just streaming on Twitch. There is no survivor bias here. You are not going to be making tens of thousands of dollars over that, you know, that VOD, but you're going to be making more money overall than just streaming on Twitch. And if you compared your numbers on that Twitch stream versus the VOD over a year, that ratio, right? The comparative ratio, the percentage is probably going to be similar. It's just that you're not going to be getting like $50,000 over that one stream. Because again, this is MoistCr1TiKaL's numbers. This is a guy with 16.3 million subscribers. Only a handful of people are on this caliber of, you know, content creation. So like, forget the number, but the relative comparison and percentage of how much you're making over that time, I think that is consistent.
Just multi-stream. Your viewers are going to pick the platform they most prefer, and I think that it's nice to at least give them the option of choosing that for themselves too. And again, the potential for the streamer is pretty huge.
I'm honestly thinking about doing video game streams now. Oh shit. I don't know, man. Like genuinely, like it's actually ridiculous how much I'm missing out on through YouTube VODs. And like, I have been trying to incorporate gaming streams more. I actually have been, but it's just like, how do I do it? Do I open up another channel? Would I only stream on Twitch and then record that portion of the gaming content and upload it into a different channel? No. I think if I was actually going to do gaming content, it would probably be for like average of like 2 hours per session, right? 2 hours per session where I would, you know, and not on a daily basis either. Who knows how this would work, but rather than publishing it on a different channel, it would just be live on YouTube. And I record that, I publish it. Yeah, I think I would do something like that if I cared about doing gaming content.
So yeah, anyway, hopefully this was helpful for anyone out there that's trying to decide what platform they should stream on. I think it should just be both. That's my advice, and to any streamers out there right now that are only streaming on either YouTube or only on Twitch, really think you should just come in the middle and hold hands with both platforms and just, you know, like the commercial, why not both?
Honestly, you can also stream on TikTok too. Like there's no reason to not stream on TikTok, right? You can try to, you know, port those audience over to Twitch or YouTube or whatever. Just more multi-streaming, the better. But that YouTube VOD revenue, this is the whole point of the video, right? That yes, you can make more money on Twitch versus YouTube for a single stream. But what you're forgetting is what happens in the long run. That single stream on Twitch is done. It's static. It won't change the revenue. But on YouTube, that shit keeps growing and growing and growing and growing.
I really think that it's probably a good idea. I do want to say though, regardless of what platform you're on, it's a very saturated market, so it's going to take a lot of luck. I've said this since...
Yes. You're not just gonna, oh my god, I'm just gonna multi-stream on YouTube and Twitch now, I'm gonna get a lot of money. No, you won't. If you are just chasing these numbers, you will get nowhere. And I'll talk about a little bit after he finishes the video about the content creation and how to start it.
Since the beginning of time, I'm not special. I got lucky. You could be making the best content the world's ever seen, turbo cheek clapping, slapping, banger, heater after heater, but at the end of the day, it's all about having that one lucky break that puts it in front of people's peepers and gets them interested. The only thing you have control over is the consistency.
Exactly. Luck equals preparation, preparation plus opportunity. You cannot prepare. You cannot, control opportunity. That one breakout moment. But the consistency MoistCr1TiKaL just mentioned, that is the preparation part. You have to prepare yourself to position yourself to try to get lucky. And when an opportunity suddenly arrives, you're ready to execute on that opportunity because you've been consistent. If all you're doing is just fucking around making excuses saying it's impossible for me because everything is due to luck, well, guess what? You will be unprepared when the opportunity happens and you won't even know that you missed out on an opportunity.
So that way you'll have like a catalog of videos that people can go back and watch after they might find that video that popped off through luck. So that's really about it. See ya.
And that's it. At the end of the day, you should not look at these numbers and think like, I'm going to drop out of school, I'm going to drop out of my job and just start content creation. Guess what? Content creation is so fucking hard. Even myself, and I'm very insignificant, but I have some semblance of success where I can do this full time. It took me 3 fucking years of holding down a day job. Again, with the first 2 years, the spinning in circles, having no progress, and only the most recent year actually having some progress to the point that I can start to do this full time. And what you have to understand is, as alluring as what I'm doing is, the fact that I can just watch videos, watch anime, and make more money than I made at my day job, do you think this is forever? What you don't realize is the volatility and like the dangers that you put yourself in. You quit your job and you streamed and you made content and sure it went well. What if something happens? What if a certain law bill passes? What if something else happens, right? That like it's completely outside your control. You thought that this is a sustainable business, but then boom, you're 5 years into content creation. The money is gone, your audience is gone, and now you're fucked because you have a gap in your work history. You can't do anything. This is a very, very risky thing to do. And not only is it risky, what's the likelihood that you're going to become successful? Probably very low, right? Extremely low. Everyone, again, just look at this shit, right? Just look at the amount of people that's streaming on a daily basis. Jesus, I'm echoing. Look at the amount of people that's streaming on a daily basis, and you will never be found on Twitch again. There is no like when I go to Twitch, when I stream, I'm not expecting the Twitch audience to find me. No, I'm expecting that my audience from YouTube finds me to Twitch because I've built out, it's completely random video. I've built out a channel. I built out a community on YouTube by grinding anime reactions and by going live and letting people know that I'm on Twitch, but also having some sort of stream presence in the past. I'm able to port them over to Twitch and actually have that shit going. If you really want to start streaming, what I would recommend is have a YouTube presence. And I think it's okay that you stream to 0 viewers because your goal is that you're streaming on Twitch and whatever you're doing, you're recording the content and you can edit that shit to make it into YouTube videos. The more that you can pump out these YouTube videos or maybe even shorts, I honestly think that shorts are a waste of time if you're focused on making ad revenue. But there's definitely ways to, pop off with shorts and try to port them over to Twitch as well. The idea here is stream while you're recording content to put up on YouTube. YouTube will then grow through the recommendation system if you know how to fucking use that shit. And by growing there, even with no presence, no networking, whatever, you will start to have fans. And those fans will then trickle over to your stream. And it's like this loop. It's this loop of you're streaming on Twitch, you're recording content, and if even no one's watching, you're making content for YouTube and you're building YouTube. Once YouTube gets building, those people from YouTube now check you out on Twitch. And you have this beautiful cycle where now people show up on Twitch because they found you not through Twitch, but through YouTube. And again, like, I think that doing content creation is the most fulfilling thing in my life. The fact that I can choose what I want to do when I want to do, right? It's amazing. The earning potential is also very, very high. But you have to realize that not everyone can just do this. And it's very volatile. You have to think about your job stability, your responsibilities. But if you think that you're an entertainer, if you think that you're actually funny, outgoing, you have a personality that can engage other people, if you want to do more than just working a 9-to-5 and working for someone else and working for their dreams and not yours, try it out while holding down a day job. Completely quitting your job, completely quitting school to go all in on streaming is so fucking stupid. You don't need that much time. Like, what I would do is literally this. I worked 9-to-5. Then I come home from then 5 to 10 or 11. I would record my shit. I would stream. I would record my content. I would edit. Then I'd go to bed. I'd have like 2 hours of free time after, like finishing stuff at like 10 to 11 p.m. Then I'd like go to bed around like 1 a.m. Then I'd go to work every day for 3 fucking years because I wanted to do it. Because me doing that shit outside of my 9-to-5 was the only hope, the light at the end of the tunnel. Because most of you probably don't have day jobs yet. Most of you are probably just in school. You're probably children that have no clue of how soulless the corporate America is, or whatever different country you live in. Having a nice, stable, white-collar office job is nice. I used to work as a software engineer, and it was a very stable job. It was very easy. Literally what I would do is work for about 2 hours, not even, but I would make it seem like I worked for 8 hours. And after my 2 hours of work is done, I would then spend the next 6 hours just focusing on content creation. As in like trying to study the YouTube algorithm, trying to research other people, how they're succeeding, what they're doing. I would also study for other jobs because at that time, I'm like, I need to get a different job. I need to do more interviews and get into better tech companies. That was kind of my cycle of like literally put in 2 hours of work. And the rest of it is me grinding for interview prep at different companies. And then the other bit is me trying to do more research on like, how do I make content creation better and understand the game of YouTube? And after 3 years, I finally got here. But again, it's so fulfilling to be able to do what you want to do. Even if you get no views in the beginning, you will feel some sort of pride, some sort of like fulfillment because now you're creating. You're doing something out of passion. And if it starts to get acknowledged by the greater audiences and you actually get to see money coming in from it, it's just like, I cannot describe to you the feelings that I have. And that's why I'm grinding every fucking day, posting like 8 videos a fucking day, grinding this shit. And people think like, how are you doing this? Aren't you tired? Like, aren't you getting bored? It's like, no, it's not boring at all. Every day feels different. Every day is fresh. I can choose to do what I want to react to. I can choose to, make videos that I want to. And it's so amazing. So that's pretty much it. Please go check out Mr. MoistCr1TiKaL's channel. He only has 16.3 million views, but I'm sure with your guys' help, he can reach 17 million. And until next time, take care.